Fantastic.
Can we be
All
like those
right.
managers that like asks how good we look, not realizing we're being recorded, and that shit's gonna go up? I love those things. Anyway, let me move my water. So go ahead, do your thing.
All right, we're good. We're good to go. All right. Hey, everyone. Auntie Shisha is usually doing this, so hopefully I can live up to her standards. But yeah, so don't make faces at me.
I didn't.
This one is going to be Aisha. Oh my God. Okay, sorry guys. All right. So, oh my God, I feel like so pressured. Can you like stop it for a second?
I didn't do anything. I'm being quiet.
Okay, but like you're looking at me like judgment. Like, this is not how you do
I
it. Okay, anyway,
wasn't.
seriously.
I was
Guys, welcome back to our what is it, like third, fourth, fifth show or something
We
like
are
that? Or
on our fourth show, third together. Yeah, third together, fourth
welcome
show
back. If you're
around.
still here with us, we really appreciate you. So today is going to be a good one because when Aisha suggested that we talk about what we've learned from our parents, I immediately loved the idea. I've known her family since we were kids. Our moms were friends. We grew up together. Her family has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. Even my son and my ex, who we don't like, would go over there on Sundays for breakfast before Aisha and I would have to go to work. And what stood out to me like all these years and from being a kid was just how welcoming they were. Like you could just be yourself around them no matter what. They never made you feel judged. And they like no matter who it was, whoever was at the house, like they treated you like family. And I know every family has their ups and downs, but I've always admired how close they are and how they've supported each other through everything. So, since this was Aisha's idea, we're going to start with some questions for her. And so, I guess my first question would be um, what are some of the core values that your parents instilled in you?
Ooh, my number one, because this went over into the friends that I made or lack thereof and into dating, was that if someone is not making enough money or they are lacking in certain parts of life, don't judge them based on that, because we were always using the term in the household, we were rich in love. We may not, like growing up, we didn't have everything, but we had one another to talk to. We would, always have our weekends together. Um, my dad being a cross country truck driver when I was very little, like we didn't get to see him as much, and that was a core value because when I remember being small, but I do remember him and my mom having a talk at the dinner table. And he said, Nay, I miss you guys. I'm on the road so much. It's not, at the time, he wasn't driving in a company where we could be in his double sleeper. It was just him. And so when he told her he missed us and he wanted to take the pay cut to just be with us all the time, and they would make ends meet. And my mom didn't even bat an eye. She's like, Winston, I could go back to work. Like, I don't have to, we could let the kids stay with, your parents or mine, and we could just, make ends meet and figure it out. And that to me was just like, that was family. And so when I would make friends, it was based on that particular value instilled in me, that you don't have to have money to be a wonderful, loving, honest, forgiving person. You, and I find that most people with money are usually the bigger douche. But that's, like just the way they treated you alone, I'd bring you over, And we didn't have all that,
Yeah.
to supply. But they were like, my mom would look in the fridge right before you'd get her. She's like, "Oh no, Winston, we don't have enough of this. We don't have enough of this." And he's like, "We'll make it work, Nay. We'll make it work. It's good to have them over because we don't know what their home life is like." Oh, so, you know, like
Yeah.
that will always remain number one. So,
Something that like will always stand out about your dad was that he is probably the only person in the world till this to this day who can always pick up when I was being sarcastic.
because he's just,
Oh,
oh my God, some of the things he'll come up with, I'm like, huh? Why would you say that, Dad? He's like, never mind. So, you were like his spirit daughter. So, so yeah, he got you all the
oh
way.
man, I love that. Because like I believe it was like I forgot who was over, but like you and your mom, you guys were like into like whatever I was saying, like believing what I was saying, and your dad was like, she's being sarcastic. I'm like, how did you know? And he's like, I always know when you're being sarcastic. I'm like, I love that. Nobody ever knows. So
Yeah.
I will always appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Because at least he understood, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
oh,
saying? So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh my God, it was such a good time. Okay, so let's see, because I have like a lot of questions.
No.
So, so would you say that like your parents teach you more through what they said or through how they lived?
A little bit of both, honestly. A little bit of both. They were not the do as I say, not as I do people. They didn't believe in that whatsoever. Um, it was a lot of actions. There was one time my dad was going to, I think we were going to play lottery numbers, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a guy right outside the store. We were in Rawway, if I'm not mistaken, but there was a guy right outside the store. And the extra change that he had on him, he gets back in the vehicle and he said, "Hey, you don't need anything from the store, do you?" And I said, "No, I'm good." I was little. And usually when he would take one of us, we would pick out treats for everyone else. And I said, "No, I don't need anything. I'm good. I'm fine." He said, "Okay." It was like 7-year-old me. And he gets out, goes back in the store, comes out with like cup of coffee, bottle of water, like a hot roll with butter, and he gives it to the guy sitting on the corner. And he gets back in and he goes, "I just wanted to make sure you didn't need anything." And he's like, "We're not going to talk about this because we don't have enough to take snacks back home." Funny enough, he did hit on that lottery ticket he got. But it was just like the fact that like I'm like, I'm good. And I still hold those thoughts of random acts of kindness like that still
Hmm.
today. I'm like, man, they live by their word. Him and my mom both. If she had extra change on her, she would give it to my dad so he could go get whoever it was they saw struggling. If it was just them without us in the car and there was like a young girl hitchhiking or whatever, they would pick her up, take her to the local church or a shelter. Like that was how they were growing up. So for me,
I guess they didn't really watch horror movies at the time,
oh, we did, because I mean, me and my mom, our summer get together was The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer and C. Thomas Howell, and we know how that ended.
and they're still picking up people to like drive them places.
This was different, though. I mean, you're talking young girls, God forbid. This was, I mean, in a time where, remember, we had like the truck driver slasher dude. And my dad being a
No, I
truck
don't
driver.
remember that.
Yes, in the 70s, there was a truck driver that was picking up young women and just. So my dad having been, driving cross country most of the time, and he would see these young girls and he's like, "Oh my God," so he would just phone it in to the local police station and that's that. But him and my mom together would see things like this, especially during the holidays, and they're like, "No, no, pick that girl up. We don't have the kids. We'll be okay." Just that simple,
Aw.
So
Yeah.
that's that's how they lived. So for us to see that constantly, it was like, okay, cool, not a problem. So
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's a good one. So I know you just laid out like two really good things, but
mm,
what's like one piece of advice from them that still sticks with you today that you live by?
man. Um sheesh. Okay, if I had to pick one, if I had to pick one, it would be that even if you see somebody like somebody struggling, somebody having a hard time, somebody going through it, and other people will devalue that person, believe in what's in here and take that extra step to find out who they are, to understand them, to get to know them, because how they got there was not originally where they started. You never know the background, you never know the struggle they're having. And if they're going through it alone and people are putting them down without giving you reason, like always take that one extra step to just get to know the person, to see how their heart is, where their heart is, and where they're trying to go, because you just never know what their values are. And I'm like, that one has always stuck out to me because some people are just down on their luck, and alcoholics, drug addicts. I mean, you just never know what is happening for them behind the scenes. Like once they close that door at night and they go in their house and they're in, you don't know if they're like breaking down. You just don't. And it's so sad to think like people instantly will throw people to the wayside because of insert whatever it may be, and they don't even understand the person. So that would be like my number one. Yeah.
That's a good one. I really like that. That's kind of like what I like one of the things that stood out to me like from when I was young is that they were just non-judgmental people
Yeah.
and they just welcomed, everybody. They didn't care like really like what the story was. Like if you're a good person, like that's all that they care about. As long as like nobody's hurting anything, doing anything bad, like,
Mhm.
they're just gonna like take care of anybody,
Yeah.
you know? Um, so let's see. Um, where's the other one that I wanted to ask you? Okay, so is there anything that you learned from them that you didn't realize was unique until you got older?
This is gonna sound so bizarre. And I don't want it to. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to carry on like I'm better than those people. But what still shocks me till this day was when going to school and a friend had to come over for a class project. And it started with that one kid, and then it escalated after that. Was I bring them in and I'm like, Mom, we're here. And she's like, okay, I'll prepare lunch for you guys. What are you guys working on? I'll clear the area. And that was that. And then Dad comes home. And then this kid looks at me and goes, are those your parents? I said, yeah. They're still married? I'm like, yeah. I mean, aren't your parents married? And that was the first of like 9 kids in a month within school project time where back to back kids are just loading into the house. And just the question all the time was, your parents are still married? And that to me was like, it was like having freaking cooties, because everybody's like, oh my God. And it was just constant, repetitive. And I felt uncomfortable because I apparently was the odd one out.
Uh-huh.
And that was just the one thing that no matter what with anyone, no matter what with whatever, like, and it just wasn't even like a scandalous secret, but it was something that I discovered.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't a thing. Like, it was just so weird to me. So And it carried on with Dane, by the way. So that
Oh,
made
did
it,
it really?
yeah, so that made it even more bizarre. But if you want a side funny haha, the one thing I discovered was when I learned that my dad ate eggs on egg sandwich with ketchup. I was like, where's my real dad? So that to me, that was the bizarre find out. But that was so funny when it happened. So there you
And
go.
what's bizarre about that?
Because he's a no sauce type of person. So like he eats
Okay.
his breakfast plain, never noticed. You know, if he's gonna have like ketchup on breakfast, it would be hash browns or something. So
Okay.
when I saw that, I was like, oh my god! Like my world was disrupted because I was like, bro, that's not my dad. So yeah, yeah. I had to
Oh
lighten
my
the load.
God.
I had to lighten the
All because
load.
of ketchup.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
My bad.
Okay. All right. So, again, we're all getting to see, like, I already know how amazing your parents are. So, like, everybody else is getting to see how amazing your parents are.
Oh, thank you.
So, if you
Oh,
could thank your parents for one thing, what would it be? And I guess that's going to be hard because you just said like so many things, like how generous they were, how judgmental they, like non-judgmental, and just what
ooh.
well-rounded good people they are.
They are very awesome. Because I didn't notice this until I went to church. And I went to church with a family member. I'm not going to put them out there like that, but I went to church with a family member. And in this church, I was maybe about 12. Yeah, I was about 12. And this was different from what I was normally used to in church. When they tell you black people be backflipping and doing what they do, that's real life apparently. We
I
were
went to a Baptist church one day with Kelly. I loved it so much.
I just was not expecting it. You know, I'm used to just sit down, stay seated
Uh-huh.
until it's
Stand up.
time to
Uh-huh. Stand
receive.
up.
Yeah, so I was not aware.
Yeah.
Um, but we're there, and the pastor starts talking about how many young faces, new young faces were there that he was seeing. And I'm like, oh, please don't ask me to come up there. And so he's talking to the parents through them to us. And he starts to go into this factor of how many of y'all in here talking to the kids believe in Santa? And I'm like, and then he goes through the whole list. The whole list. Like Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny, like Jack o' Lantern. Like he's going through the whole list. And I'm
How
like,
old were you raising your little hand like that?
12. 12. I do not I don't care. I don't care. And then he goes, how many of y'all taught these children to believe in God and forget those fake entities? And I didn't like where he went with that. And I was like, I was the only one who had raised my hand.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh shit. You know, like, uh-oh, wait a minute, what's going
You were
on
about to
here?
throw down, huh?
Yeah, I was ready. Rolling up, sleep. I was ready. So he said, oh, just one of y'all. And I'm like, yeah, yeah. So he was saying that that's a first that he's ever seen that because within my age group, we are taught to forget all of that because as we get older, we only want to believe one person, well, one being, and that's God. We need to stop worshiping false idols that we're never going to see. We're never going to. And I'm like, sir, I never seen God. Like, what do you mean I can't believe? So that stayed on my mind. Now I get home and I explain the whole thing to mom and dad. And they're like, well, we taught you to love everybody. We taught you to love every. we want you to understand that if you don't have a belief in something, how are you supposed to believe somebody you're never going to see that can give you the grace of something, that can perform miracles? And they were like, you keep believing all of those as long as you have God in your heart. Because they're like, you're never going to see him, but miracles will happen. So that I am very thankful for that they instilled in me. Because still as an adult, there are things that happen in life that I will never be able to explain. And if they didn't give me that ability to believe in all of those things,
Yeah.
that kind of takes away that childlike innocence that allows you to just accept things as they come and just say, okay, we'll get over this too because we got over everything else, because there is somebody out there that's listening. So that's my happy yes. Yes. Yeah, that's it.
I love that. That is good. I love that so much.
Thanks. Just know that 12-year-old me was
Right.
still believing in Ashes, though.
Oh, I could just picture you like, what is he talking about? I can only imagine like how annoyed you were.
Oh, very. Very. I'm 46 years old, going on 47. And if you ask me if Santa was real, I'll be like, yes, he is. Like, I don't care. I don't, whatever. So is Jesus. They can't exist in the
So,
same world.
like I know your parents were awesome about this, but like the drive home with this family member, did you have a conversation with that person or no? You just
No.
left it until you got home?
No.
No,
Girl,
okay.
I was in that back seat like, like I was fuming. I was like, how you gonna do this to me? How you gonna do this? Who just brought the Easter basket, bro? Like, honestly,
God.
I was mad.
Oh, you are ridiculous. You're so funny. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I did it to you
Okay.
earlier.
Yeah, no, you sure did. Um, okay. So
Yeah.
what's something that you didn't fully appreciate until you got older?
Quality time.
Hmm.
Quality time. Um, it's one of those things where here's the explanation. When I was younger, when we first got to New Jersey, mom and dad had to work non-stop to save up for the first apartment. Um, and so Paul and myself lived with Nana and Poppy in the Bronx. And it was like group effort, takes a town to, or whatever, to raise a child. So it was me and Paul with Nana and Poppy and Auntie Crystal, Uncle Leroy. And so weekends we would get to see mom and dad. And I still have this doll that, remember the little dolls that used to come in the bottles? I don't know if you remember those back in the 80s. There were these little dolls that would come in the bottles, and each one was a color representative of the dress they wore. And mom had got it. She worked at Pathmark, and she had got it for me because she was packaging whatever she was packaging, and she had got it for me. And she said, Aisha, you gotta hold on to this until the very day we move, and then you can give her back to me, but you gotta take care of her. And I still have that doll, still have it packed away. And I was so torn when it came time to move to our very first place together because I was going to miss Nana and Poppy. But that's normal for a child to like get, comfortable. And so our very first night in Roselle in our apartment, I will never forget, we had this little trunk that dad had from when he was little. And that was our table, our dining table, since we just moved in. And we didn't have the lights on yet, so we had Intamin's chocolate donuts and glasses of milk for dinner by candlelight. And
Oh,
man,
love that.
like that moment will forever be instilled in my mind as a freaking core memory of values, of love, of just like That's my favorite memory to go back to of our very first time as a family unit. And it just kind of took off from there. Like, it was just, God. So when I think about it now, that was my experience because Dane didn't experience that until later on in life when, see, this breaks me up every time, but when they left Jersey and they first moved to North Carolina, and Dane said to me, and I had to hang up after that. I was like, oh, I got something to do. He said to me, he said, Aisha, do you know what it was like to not wake up in a basement and feel that sunlight on my face for the first time ever? Lisa, I broke. I lost it. And I was like, damn, man, that was like my moment of the first time having dinner with mom and dad and Paul as a family unit on our own. Like, we did it, you know? And like,
Yeah.
oh my God. So it's awesome. I got to have my experience, he got to have his, but it was like a shared
Yeah.
experience of just
I remember you
happiness.
telling me about that with Dane's
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. Oh my God. So lovely. But yeah, that's something that will always, like, I always go back at it and I'm like, thanks guys. Thank you. Like, thank you for
Oh, I
giving
love
me,
that.
you know? It was such a, I wish everybody could experience it because some of these families, they go into that with everything already established. And some people just won't understand that first moment you buy your first piece of furniture, you buy that first piece of food to go in your fridge. Like, people won't ever,
Yeah.
some people don't get it. And that was mine, and it was just cherished because, damn, you know, it took a lot to get there. So yeah, I would thank them for that. So,
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, yeah. Oh, Lord Jesus.
All right. So let me see. One more.
Hmm.
Um, okay. I asked you that. So what's like, I mean, again, you already say so many like good things, and like, I can attest to like how amazing and like the values that they like instill. But what's one thing that you'll always carry because of them?
Damn. Positive outlook no matter how bad things are getting. Um, oh, 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 where'd you go?